Welcome to Television Sydney News. I'm KRYSTYNA Pollard. It's great to have you with us. In this week's bulletin, a family left traumatised after a botched police raid, 4 men shot in bikie gang violence, and Katoto the giraffe finds a new home in Sydney. But first, homes and businesses across Sydney's west and southwest have been damaged after a supercell thunderstorm ripped through the area on Thursday. Wind gusts up to 107 kilometres an hour blasted Penrith just after 4:30 p.m, where 17 millimetres of rain fell.
Basically, for about a good 10 minutes, about 90, the rain was coming about 90 degrees to the window. It was just crazy. It was probably a good 10 minutes. It was, yeah, just unbelievable it was. Quite a bit of hail too, yeah. Like as I said, coming directly at our windows, so inside got a bit wet as well. So.
Peak hour motorists were also affected as hailstones made roads treacherous and the storm blacked out traffic lights and brought down trees. One man was stuck inside his vehicle after high voltage power lines came down. The State Emergency Service received 180 calls for help by 7:30, with Penrith, Cambridge Park, Horsley Park, Ingleburn and Mount Druitt the worst affected suburbs. Warnings were also issued for Moorebank, Cecil Park, Hoxton Park and Prestons. A Riverstone family has been left traumatised after police broke down their door and ordered them to the floor at gunpoint in a case of mistaken identity. Michael Jumo says his partner and 4 children haven't been able to sleep since police in paramilitary gear stormed their home last month, believing a dangerous bikie lived there. But the police gang squad had the wrong address. A police spokesman says the incident is being investigated by senior officers. 1 man is dead and another 3 suffered gunshot wounds in shootings at Canley Vale and Rhodes this week. 23-year-old father Falau Paisu was killed and 2 other men in their 20s, all members of the Comancheros bikie gang, were injured at a Canley Vale wedding on Sunday. On Wednesday, a 28-year-old Comanchero associate was shot 4 times in the stomach on a Rhodes street. Police say the violence is targeted and a result of internal battles within the gang. Students will rally outside State Parliament on Wednesday, protesting a jump in TAFE fees and cuts to subsidies. The New South Wales Teachers Federation expects fees to jump from $1,500 to $10,000 a year when Education Minister Adrian Piccoli's TAFE reforms come into effect next year. The Federation's Western Sydney TAFE organiser, Kathy Nicholson, says the predictions are based on what happened in Victoria when a similar reform was introduced. Students say the fees are already a strain on their finances.
At the moment, it's been pretty tough for me because my parents have had to pay for my course. So next year, when the fees go up, I guess it's going to put a bit more strain on us financially.
The Department of Education and Communities will not divulge next year's fee structure, but has confirmed pre-vocational training, skill sets and qualifications from Certificate 4 to Advanced Diploma will be subsidised next year. Fine arts courses will not be subsidised. Penrith Council and local clubs are lobbying to ensure a new bridge over the Nepean River doesn't affect the region's rowers. Penrith Mayor Mark Davies says some designs put forward for the new Green Bridge, catering for pedestrians and cyclists, block the stretch of water used by rowers. He said rowing brings many people into the region and that river-based activities contribute to the more than $230 million tourism injects into the Penrith economy every year. Rowing New South Wales Chief Executive Christian Renford says he's pleased with the Council's approach to the project. Champion boxer Daniel Gill will receive the keys to the city of Camden next Australia Day. The reigning IBF middleweight champion will travel in an open-top car during the January 26 street parade before being honoured at a civic reception where he'll be presented with the keys. Mayor Lara Simkoviak says it'll be the first time the ornamental key has been presented in Camden. Camden MP Chris Patterson also announced a reception at Parliament House on November 22 for the fighter. And Camden Council has moved to acknowledge the area's traditional owners at council meetings. Daniel Gill will deliver the council's inaugural Welcome to Country at its November 27 meeting. But Blacktown Council has decided to drop the word Durug from its acknowledgement. The council says it's had advice its current policy is too restrictive in mentioning only one Aboriginal group. In the interim, Blacktown will acknowledge traditional owners, the area's Aboriginal history and significant Aboriginal population. Durug elder Uncle Greg Sims says it's a step backwards and fears it will set a precedent for other councils that do acknowledge the Durug people. Singers from Campbelltown Performing Arts High School will star on the 40th anniversary celebration of Gough Whitlam's historic speech at Blacktown. 70s star Patricia Amphlett has asked the school choir to accompany her in a performance of Mr Whitlam's 1972 campaign jingle, It's Time. The night will be held in the Bowman Hall at the Blacktown Civic Centre on Tuesday. A bloke's breakfast will be held in Blacktown next Friday for men to join the fight against domestic violence. The Outer West Domestic Violence Network will host the White Ribbon Day event aimed at businessmen and community leaders at Blacktown International Sports Park. The breakfast is a prelude to the start of 16 days of activism from November 25, which coincides with White Ribbon Day. Treasurer Catherine White says society needs to send the message that violence isn't okay. It was cheers all round after the Australian Hotel and Brewery at Rouse Hill had a triple win at the annual Beer and Brewer Awards. Head brewer Neil Cameron and his two assistants took out the People's Choice, Best Beer and Best Venue categories. The winning beer was a pale lager, a hoppy and aromatic German-style Pilsner. The successful brewery opened in 2010 and has plans to expand next year. The state's top eco-sleuths have been presented with awards for solving this year's Murder Under the Microscope mystery. More than 35,000 students from across Australia took part in the challenge, where teams work online to solve a fictional crime against the environment. The Lamentalists, a 30-strong team from St Ives Public School, was awarded Top Trainee for 2012, while Mossvale Public School's team was the fastest to solve the mystery, taking out the New South Wales Eco Sleuth Award. The awards were presented at the University of Western Sydney's Parramatta campus on Friday. One of the world's unique international arts festivals began at Parramatta on Thursday. Paramasala celebrates the global impact of South Asian arts and cultures over 4 days, with music, theatre and cinema. The buzzing Masala markets in Church Street Mall are host to South Asian-inspired food, fashion, spices and arts and crafts, while a big outdoor stage features international and Australian musicians and performers. Paramasala kicked off on Thursday with a Bollywood-style party and will continue to Sunday. Riccardo Moretti from Kemps Creek is a pizza acrobat and is one of 10 dough twirlers to represent Australia at the World Pizza Championships in Italy next April. The self-taught acrobat has been throwing pizza dough for about 3 years. Riccardo says pizza acrobatics is almost an Olympic sport overseas and he'd like to see it grow in popularity here. The team will compete in different categories including acrobatics, dessert, gluten-free and traditional pizzas. Adrenaline seekers have a new challenge on their hands after an adventure park opened in Western Sydney. The Treetop Adventure Park, which opened at Western Sydney Regional Park, features more than 90 challenges across 4 levels of difficulty. There are 3 courses for 3 to 9-year-olds, as well as 17 flying foxes.
The activities are actually allowing them to enjoy the bush, do a little bit of physical activity and getting healthy, getting some fresh air, but in an environment that's completely eco-friendly as well.
Children over 10 can get into a harness and tackle challenges on 3 courses, while adults can ride on zip lines and rope ladders anywhere from 10 to 50 feet off the ground.
It makes you like exercise, you get fit, and I like the height as well. It's really high and really fun.
It's like if you would fly in the air in the trees.
For 19 years, NEPEAN Therapy Dog Club has been bringing 4-legged therapy to hospitals and nursing homes from Penrith to Castle Hill. But now the club's 2-legged escorts are getting older and they're looking for others to lend a hand. Nicole Sullivan began volunteering with the club 10 years ago and is a regular face at Blacktown Hospital. With her is Teddy Bear, who likes to ride in a pram, and Ellie Mae.
There's only about half a dozen volunteers and their dogs working in the community, and we would really like to branch out a little bit more, maybe visit some more nursing homes and more aged care facilities. A typical volunteer would ideally give a couple of hours a week and visit hospitals or the nursing homes on a regular basis, but we really do need handlers who are willing to give their time and have a clean, well-behaved, well-groomed dog that's really interested in interacting with people.
Therapy dogs walk through the hospital mostly off-lead, breaking up the monotony of patients' routines and helping bring smiles to their faces.
I worked for about 25 years in aged care, and we used to use pets in the community to come and visit the residents there. And they just loved it. I noticed a big change in the behaviour of the residents. They were a lot calmer after the visits, and the dogs love it as well. Look at them, they just love it. They're beautiful.
NEPEAN Therapy Dog Club was formed in 1993 after Anne-Marie Schuster and her golden retriever Bella visited a friend at NEPEAN Hospital. And in sport, the Western Sydney Wanderers have surged into the A-League's top 6 following their back-to-back win over Melbourne Heart. Striker Mark Bridge bagged his second goal in 2 games to give the Wanderers an early lead before Heart defender Patrick Gerhard turned the ball into his own net before half-time. While Heart's Joseph Tadic struck a superb volley to bring his team back into the contest, the Wanderers held on to win the game. While 8,000 fans had plenty to cheer about, Japanese import Shinji Ono's studs-up challenge on Heart striker Jason Hoffman resulted in referee Regis Quefelec awarding a yellow card, and the Wanderers were lucky to finish the match with 11 men. The Wanderers next face Newcastle Jets on Saturday at Parramatta Stadium. Meanwhile, the Wanderers women's team has held its first game on home soil. Campbelltown Sports Stadium, or Wonderland as it's dubbed, hosted its first Westfield W-League game last weekend. Led by captain and Matildas player Sarah Walsh, the Campbelltown girls beat Perth Glory 2-0. Macarthur District Soccer Football Association says having the women's team choose Campbelltown as a base is good for local soccer. The Women Wanderers play Canberra United on Sunday, 2 p.m. at Campbelltown Sports Stadium. Sydney-siders flocked to Rosehill Gardens on Tuesday to celebrate the 2012 Melbourne Cup. Thousands of racegoers filtered through the turnstiles in the morning, confident of picking that elusive winner.
I'm at Rosehill because I love horse racing and this is the best place to watch Melbourne Cup.
Pre-race punters turned to omens, superstitions and the form guide, convinced they had the winning ticket. While some celebrated in triumph, the majority left with their tail between their legs and their wallet a lot lighter.
So at Rosehill today, I'm down 40, but mate, compared to my friends, I'd measure that as a success.
There's always next year. And finally, Western Sydney motorists were treated to an unusual sight on Thursday as Taronga Zoo transported a giraffe from the Central West to Sydney. Kitoto travelled in her custom-built crate from Dubbo to join the rest of Taronga's giraffe herd via the Great Western Highway, M7 and M2. Crowds lined parts of the route to get a glimpse of Kitoto as she watched the outside world go by from her open-top crate. Children from Falconbridge Public School in the Blue Mountains had an extended view after Kitoto's convoy stopped at a set of traffic lights outside their school. It was the second attempt to get Kitoto to join her new friends, Jimiyu, Nyota and Zarafa, after rain the previous day made her reluctant to get into the trailer. And that's all for this week's bulletin. For more information on any of these stories, pick up your local Fairfax community newspaper. I'm KRYSTYNA Pollard. We'll see you next time.